turn this heater off. That thing's made that clinking on that blade since that thing was brand new. Because it don't do it when you turn it on. Alright, I run into some issues. This is the merge pipe. 4 inch or 3 inch by 3 inch by 3 inch. I'm not going to use the Spectra hat because it flows like shit. I've talked to a few people and they flow like shit. So, we went and bought an extreme velocity hat. I just hadn't put it in other videos yet. But that, and I need provisions for 2 blow-off valves. So rather than trying to shove them in line on the sides or anything like that, what I'm going to do is I'm going to lop this off right here, right in front of the weld, so you got all that thick material where the weld's at. I'm going to cut this one off right here, which is basically going to put it about like, be about like that. So it'll be a little bit longer than what this is, but that's fine because the extreme velocity hat's a little shorter than Spectra hat, and that comes out to be perfect. So that's one. Then I'm just going to buzz a hole on this side and go straight across from it. And I'm going to put the other one on that came with one of the VS Racing blow-off valves. And I've got another pipe, which I could do 2 things. I can drill the hole and put this on it, or I can split the pipe right down the middle, both of them, and weld the 2 halves together. It'd be a lot easier, and if I screw it up for some reason, I have another pipe and I have another one of these if some reason something gets messed up. If I split the pipes, then I'm screwed. I don't have nothing else to work with. So I'll shape that, because as you can see, it's got a little bit of a wonky ass gap, so we need to take a little bit off these 2 ends right here where it's cupped, or fish mouth, whatever you want to call it, and get that to fit in there tight, because you don't want it protruding through the hole. You don't want nothing creating any turbulence. So I'm going to just put it on there, and we're going to do that, and that will be coming straight out of here. Blow-off valves are right there into the new hat. My 2 30-degree elbows that I got from Silicone Intake Systems, which, because I didn't know what I needed and they're not that expensive, I bought 2 60-degree, which one of them I did need on the driver's side because that turbo comes at a different angle. 2 45s, which I needed one coming off the turbo on the passenger side. And then I bought 2 30-degree is what I need up here, because CX Racing can't seem to get shit turned completely 90 degrees. So, and they don't make anything as far as like this. They make them with 2 on one side, but 2.5 inch pipe, nothing in 3 inch that I could find. So that's what I'm going to do on that, to get the charge pipes all together. And the Spectra hat, I watched a video, a guy, Griff's rear mounted turbo, he's out of Australia. He used one of these and it flowed like crap. Then Turbo John had made comments about the Spectra hat's good to about 6, 7, maybe 8 pounds. But after that, they don't flow worth a damn. So that's what we're going to do to get that took care of. That way I can just mount both of these, one on either side. They're both 50 millimeter. If one's good, 2 is better. And if I don't need one, then we can change it up. But I'm going to use both of them. And then I changed the diaphragms in these wastegates because when I got them, one of them seemed like it was pinched, and they were kind of like gooey. They wouldn't flex quite as much as what they should. So I tore them all apart, and I put 2 tile MVR diaphragms in them, which basically AVS Racing's like an MVR clone. Nothing against them. I know guys that have run them and they work fine. I know guys that run cheap eMusa stuff and it worked, but I changed the diaphragms in them, and I changed the springs, and they have a tile. I think it's 4.35 pound spring. Well, when we started doing all this, way back when I had the GT45s and we still had the Holly on it and everything, I bought 2 precision 46 millimeter gates, which is basically the same as a 44 millimeter. And they come with everything from a 1.5 pound spring all the way up to a 25.5 pound springs. Or you stack them, but the springs are all, I forgot, there's like 6 or 7 springs in the box with them. I'm going to end up probably putting those on here. And I'm probably going to cut the boost back to about 6 or 7 pounds to start with, till I start learning a little bit, because then I know that's not enough really to hurt anything if the timing's off a little bit. And then once as I start learning, we'll start turning the boost up. But my goal, my whole end goal was to get somewhere around between 12 and 15 pounds. 10 pounds was stuck in my head for some reason. But I know the bottom end will handle it. I know everything else in it will handle it. You know, it's got a damn good crank. It's got good rods, good pistons, good rings. Everything's, you know, and it's good. And like I said, I think I said in another video, I've run one of those little 142 Hawaiian superchargers on a bone stock Chevrolet 350 GM Goodrich crate motor that was like a 73 to, was it 87 truck replacement engine. 2-bolt main, stock cam, stock everything. All we did was dress it up. We threw the blower on it. I threw an 850 Barry Grant on it, blower carb, and went to town. And we beat the shit out of that thing for shit every bit of 4 years. Then we pulled it out, and I ended up putting it in a little 86 Chevy pickup, and it's still running to this day. And that was back in 2005, 2006. So stock motor will do some, and then of course if you get on YouTube and watch old Richard Holdner, man, he puts the coals to that stock Gen 6 that he's got. So, and we made Pile Power in the past too with a 2-bolt main that's been studded. A studded 2-bolt main, I don't care what anybody says, is stronger than a stock bolt setup on a 4-bolt main. So, I watched my dad when I was in junior high and high school run many 871, 1471 roots blowers on 2-bolt main big blocks and pour the boost to them, and never had to worry about crank breaking or anything. The only time he had something break was a rod. It was never the crank. It wasn't never walking the mains or any of that stuff. But all his stuff was studded and all his stuff was balanced. And so was this. I spent $350 having it balanced. And I had it balanced down to a gnat's ass. But that's what we're going to do as far as that white pipe, and do that. I'll bring that other hat out, get some measurements to make sure that what I measured inside the house with it sitting on the carburetor and the pipes and stuff, everything's correct. Just to double check before I cut it, because I'm going to take it up to a guy that my son knows, and he's going to weld it up, TIG weld it for me, because he's a lot better aluminum welder than I am. You know, I got the radiator fittings welded in there, but he can do a lot better, especially on this thinner stuff. So, you know, I had them thick pieces on them neck, them AN fittings that I could come off of and flow it into the thinner stuff on the radiator tank, but this, there's no thick stuff to flow into, and I'm not that good at welder when it comes to aluminum, or TIG welding for that matter. I can MIG weld and stick weld all day long. Hell, I can stick weld, give me a coat hanger dry rod, and I can stick weld my ass off. 2 car batteries together and some jumper cables, I'll stick weld with it, but this kind of stuff I'm not that great at, because I've never had to do it. So, all the fuel lines here now, it came today. And the rest of my fittings, from Color Fittings came finally because I wanted green up here. I don't care what's on the back or under the truck. It's all black stuff. And if any of you guys want to buy fittings, Vibrant makes a really good fitting that don't leak. Of course, Russell, Air Equip, Earl's, all them places. But there's a company that sells online, and I know with everything going on, if somebody says something about made in China, it might twist some people the wrong way. But there's a company called Evil. I think it's Evil Energy. Their fittings work really well. I've used them before a couple years back, and I got a couple on here, and they don't leak. A lot of that Chinese shit, the tapers off. It's not 37 degrees on the faces, and they leak, or the ends won't go on the hose. But these go on, they seal up, and they work. So, but I'm sold on this Color Fittings guy out there out of California. He's in California. I don't know if he anodizes them or what, but the outfit, when you get them, they ship from is in Illinois, so I don't know what the deal is. But they're anodized, and they got like a pearl, clear pearl or something over them. They're hard to scratch. But that's it. I don't want to, I could do like some of these guys you see street racing and cut the grill out, put a big ass intercooler up here or something, but I'm not doing that. I don't want it to face the front of the truck. Plus, between the radiator, this other little radiator, and a tranny cooler and an engine oil cooler, there's enough for the air to flow through as it is. So I don't want nothing else up here in front of it. Plus, that intercooler I got would work, but that's another 16, 18 pounds on the front of it, and I don't want it. So, and I'm talking on the very front of the truck. But I want to keep the truck looking as original as I can. I really didn't want to change the seats and put those quirky seats in it, but I did. So, but anyhow. I swear that seat in the passenger side looks like it's leaning that way just a little bit. I don't know. Maybe it's because my head was leaning when I made the mount for the floor or something. I don't know. Anyway. But I thought I'd make a little video real quick and share that with everybody. We're getting real close. I mean, literally, I think I got everything here. Only thing I got to get is the water pump to run some kind of fluid through these. And a lot of people are even telling me I don't even need these with blow through, these little coolers. So we may end up not using them to start with. I might just put a piece of 3-inch. All I need is a piece of 12-inch piece of pipe, which I can buy that already cut and with the bead rolled on the end of it. If not, I did buy one of them little vice grip tools from a guy online. He makes them out of a pair of vice grips. They work really well. I was playing with it here last weekend. But that's the extent of it. And we have had it running. It run for maybe 20, 30 seconds for me to hear that all the lifters were quiet. Nothing was going on in there funky, wonky, or wonky. So, but other than that, I gotta get that welded up, which I'll take that up probably first this week and let that kid weld that up for me. And then we'll come out and get the fuel pump hung up, bolted back to the bracket, put the fitting on the end of that hose, and now the return line and stuff I got here in the fittings, the Dash 8 stuff, I can get that put together. My pressure port 10AN fitting for up here so I can measure fuel pressure before the regulator. Then I got a little oil fill gauge to measure fuel pressure after the regulator. It'll be out here on the fuel line. So, and I'm going to run Dash 6 to the carburetor, Dash 8 return, and a Dash 10 feed. If it's not enough, then I'll make up some Dash 8 lines and put them to the carburetor. I've got the fittings to go to Dash 8. I couldn't find anything to go Dash 10, which I think that's a little ridiculous. So, Dash 6 ought to support 1,000 horsepower. You got good flow through a Dash 10 line. You got a return on an 8. So, and that's what Aeromotive wants, is a Dash 8 return on that no matter what. So, that's what we're going to do. But other than that, everything else is good. Took the distributor out. I already got a blue spring and a silver spring in it. So I've got the RPM where it'll start to where it'll go. I've already got that set. I just got to see what all bushing I got in it. I bought a whole nother kit. So if I need to change it, I'll probably put the silver bushing in it. So the timing is all in at about, but I think it's either 28, 3200 is where it comes in at. And then it advances from there all the way up to, or what did I say? All in at that point to whatever I max RPM out, which will probably be about 58, 6200 in between there somewhere. So when they built this, he told me it'd do 7200. So we'll see. I don't plan on revving it that high. Like I said earlier, if it won't make power at 55, 5800, tear it apart and fix it. So there you go. Later.